What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. Over the past week or two, I've had to speak way more than I have over the past couple of years. My entire life, my jobs have meant that my phone would ring off the hook every few minutes. My first job at 19, I had 250 clients. And it only went up from there. And at one point, it was thousands of stores or clients all across the country. So I've had times in my life where I'm talking nonstop. But for the last couple of years, it's been mostly solitude, with a sprinkle of doctor visits, car rides with drivers, managing agents and employees, and obviously interacting with my parents and my girl. The bulk of where I got the variety of topics to talk about was either at the gym, where I met strangers or people who became friends, or here on this podcast. But for the past 2 weeks, since the passing of my father, it has naturally brought me around lots of family and talking about various topics that I haven't spoken about in a while or even thought about. Just the literal act of those thoughts even coming up and then the words following out of my lips from those strange thoughts that I haven't had in such a long time in itself is a very weird and different experience these past 2 weeks than the prior past 3 and 4 years. I'm mentioning all this for a reason. Because now, even though I find myself talking about and talking through problems I have either never addressed or I haven't thought to even speak about with these people involved, I still found myself talking a mile a minute. The words just flowed out. And each of them poignant. Each of them hitting the mark precisely. To the point even I was amazed watching myself. And it would be hard to take possession of some of the words that come or came out of me. They come from a stream of consciousness, way beyond what I can conjure up consciously from my own brain. It's almost like my conscious brain gets surpassed and my lips get connected straight to the stream of consciousness itself. Stream. Flow. It's flowing through me. Just right outside my degree of control, connected all together to consciousness greater than me, transcending myself. Which only made me wonder, how does this happen? How can I do it again? How do I get in the way of it? And is there anything that anyone else can take away that will get them more in touch with and then living and speaking in and through flow? What I realized is flow has its own force, its own ideas, its own understanding, its own connectedness to all that is important, its own priority list, its own responsibility that it carries. And because it is connected to the consciousness of all things and beings, it has a much higher chance of guiding your words and your actions that lead from there. You can shift and shape your entire world just by your words. And then the shape that the world has taken from those words is what solicits then relevant and appropriate required actions. You can use your words to completely destroy, and your followed up actions can then only be of repair, or your words can build and strengthen, and your actions then follow suit to fortify even more. If you trust and work through the higher consciousness of flow, if you don't stand in the way, what it will build and destroy will all be to serve you, and then also serve the expansion of consciousness altogether. It will require you to grow. It will put you in uncomfortable situations and express out versions of the world that you are not yet built to live in. But you will, because it has chosen to come through you. and you have allowed it. And that is what I have realized that blocks most people from living in flow. They don't allow it. They stand in the way. In the most subtle of ways, even, anytime you try to filter, it becomes a fabrication of your own making, your own creation. Who are you to filter flow? You can only become a bottleneck. There's no way your filter can let through the powerful force of the stream itself. It will diminish. It has no choice. It will be but a mere reflection of its power when it is finally uttered through your lips then, because it is diluted through your own desires, weakened by your own need to protect yourself, to stand guard, to tailor, to try and direct, to be so much in control. Your requirement for control strips away the potency from what comes to you with its own power. Any force of your own that you add only blunts the force of what is trying to come through you. The stream tries forcefully then to merge into this narrow canal of your being, and much of the flow is disrupted and lost. Anytime you filter and fabricate, you block the force of the source. Your filtering becomes the bottleneck of your possibilities. The truth cannot be stuffed into a box. It must roam free like a lion. And only those who dare to approach it can harness its power. You can never tame it. It's a force bigger than yours. But you can understand it. You can learn its nuances, speak its language, and let it be as wild as it needs to. And the requirements of your human flesh is only a limitation to the beast. You have to be willing to bear scars, walk through fire, obliterate your entire existence. If it isn't grounded, elevated, and connected to higher consciousness, then it is not serving you anyway. And you must get out of the way of what doesn't serve you, or accept the adulterated, corrupted, weakened version of reality that becomes your life. I love you, family. Stay true always. I'll see you on the next show.